Hello, class. Good day. We will be discussing the lesson 10, which is redefining humanity, exploring the fate of humans in near future. Let me start by asking, have you ever imagined a future where robots work side by side with humans or maybe even replace them, right? It's very, it sounds interesting. It sounds exciting, right? But to tell you, it's a bit a little scary about replacing human being with robots. Take note, we are living rather in the age of rapid technological progress, where artificial intelligence, robotics, biotechnology, or even nanotechnology are transforming how we live, how we work, and how we think. But as technology gets smarter, gets stronger, and more independent, some scientists are asking, are we still in control or are we slowly losing our humanity to our inventions? That's exactly what this lesson is all about. So let me present to you our learning objectives for today's discussion. First, at the end of the lesson, you will be expected to identify William Nelson's joy arguments as to why the future does not need human beings. Second, enumerate approaches and considerations to address the potential risks and consequences of rapid technological advancement. And lastly, explore the potential future scenarios based on the current trajectory of technology. And lastly, evaluate contemporary human experiences with science and technology. So here, getting to know William Nelson Joy. So in our discussion this day, we are guided by the ideas rather, of William Nelson Joy, a computer scientist who issued a warning to us humanity. He stated, if we don't control technology, the future might no longer need us. So today, we will examine how technology is redefining humanity, what dangers it may bring, and how can we make sure that the future still belongs us, the human race. Now, I think you are already aware that a country such as Japan, they are more advanced than us. They have these robots that they have, right? So imagine a photo showing a human and robot working together, especially maybe a factory where a robot, or maybe in a fast food chain or in a restaurant. Now, think about this. How would you feel if your coworker was a robot? Would you feel safe or would you feel replaced? I know that some might say it's amazing, but I know some also worrying because robots might take away human jobs. Class automation is really happening right now. In some areas or warehouses abroad, robots move goods faster than humans. In restaurant, robotic waiters are starting to appear. Even in hospitals, AI helps doctors experts diagnose diseases. And that is both exciting at the same time frightening. It shows that we are entering an age where technology doesn't just assist human being, but it could replace human in certain roles. And this brings to our main thinker for today's lesson, which is William Nelson Joy. By the way, William Nelson Joy, he wrote a famous essay, Why the Future Does Not Need Us. So technically, his name is William Bill. That's his nickname, Nelson Joy. Bill Joy was not an anti-technology. In fact, he was a brilliant software engineer and a co-founder of Sun Microsystems, a company that developed Java programming language, which power millions of devices today. However, however, he saw, he observed that there is something wrong in the future. Umaga pa, no? Because of the rapid use of technology, he observed how fast technology was evolving, especially in genetics, nanotechnology, and robotics. He began to worry, and he saw a future where machines could learn on their own, reproduce, and even make decisions without human control. That's why, let me quote his warning: the most powerful 21st century technologies, robotics, genetic engineering, and nanotech, are threatening to make humans as endangered species. He called these technologies GNR for short, the genetics, nanotechnology, and robotics. Joy feared that if we keep innovating without ethical control, we might build machines and systems that no longer need us and even harm us. Such as, no, think about it. If a robot can do everything a human can, faster, smarter, cheaper, what happens to human jobs? If AI becomes capable of thinking on its own, could it ever see human as unnecessary? These are not science fiction questions. They are moral and societal questions we must face today. Okay. Here, these are the views of William Nelson Joy, The Threat of GNR, in which I already explained earlier. In his essay, Joy argued that humanity might be heading towards its own extinction, not by war or diseases, but by technology that we ourselves create. So here, technology could outgrow human control. He mentioned, or he warned us, that as we continue developing self-learning systems and artificial intelligence, we could reach a point where machines become smarter than their creators. Today, AI programs can already write essays, diagnose illnesses, drive cars, and even create art. But what happens when AI starts making ethical or political decisions? Like who gets hired, who gets loaned, or who goes to prison? If we let machines make moral decisions, we may lose our ability to control what is right and what is wrong. Also, ethics must guide innovation. Joy wasn't saying stop developing technology, but he said, let's be careful. He wanted humanity to develop technology with human-centered and ethical approach. Imagine creating a robot soldier that can decide whom to attack without strict moral rules. That machine could harm innocent lives. So Joy believed that science must always serve human dignity and survival, not for greed or curiosity alone. The next is the danger of self-replicating system. He also warned that technologies like nanobots or genetically modified organisms could reproduce on their own. If released carelessly, They could use uncontrollable damage like spreading diseases or consuming natural resources. And that's very alarming. For instance, a small genetic experiment meant to cure one disease could intentionally create another. Or a nanobot designed to clean pollution might replicate endlessly, consuming more than it should, or a scenario scientists call this one as gray goo problems. So the main point of Bill Joy, is that science without ethics can destroy us. Technology without humanity, Technology without humanity is dangerous. Here, that's what I mentioned earlier. The potential future scenarios, the current trajectory, the emergence of autonomous machines. I think you are already aware that we have already automated cars like self-driving cars. Ba? Like in Tesla. No? Tesla to advanced humanoid robots. And these machines reduce the need for human input in tasks like driving, manufacturing, and even healthcare, raising questions about human independence. That's autonomy. Second, laws of human agency. Increasing integration of technology can diminish human agency, such as algorithms assessing creditworthiness can make significant decisions with a clear human explanation or challenge. Last is unintended consequences. The use of nanoparticles. So here, machines that think and act independently are no longer fiction. We already have self-driving cars, as I could mention, automated drones, and robotic assistants. Best example I mentioned earlier is the Tesla cars. It can navigate highways without human input. While convenient, there have been accidents where the AI made the wrong decision. And this reminds us that no matter how advanced technology gets, moral judgment and human oversight are still irreplaceable. Next, the lose of human agency. More and more decisions today are made by algorithms, invisible computer programs that decide what we see online or what ads appear on our feeds. When you scroll a TikTok or YouTube, the algorithm decides what content you see next. Yeah. You might think you're choosing freely. No. But in reality, the machine is guiding your attention. And this show easily human can lose their sense of agency, the ability to think and decide for themselves. And lastly, the unintended consequences. Every new technology brings both good and bad effects. Take the CRISPR gene editing, which allows scientists to cut and paste DNA. It can cure genetic diseases, but also it can be used to create designer babies. Who decides what's ethical? Should we allow parents to choose their child's intelligence or eye color, which is that's happening right now? That's Joy's question simple. Just because we can do something, does that mean we should? Let's proceed to ethical dilemmas in the age of AI. The rise of AI intelligence in policing, surveillance, and justice brings serious moral questions. The facial recognition that we have right now, it's a software that has been used in some countries to monitor citizens or control dissent. If it misused, it can violate human rights and personal freedom. So while technology can make life easier, it also demands accountability and wisdom. So here, it poses complex ethical dilemmas, particularly in the development and advance of AI. The AI alignment with human values, the need for oversight, and of course, the core challenge is maintaining human oversight and accountability in the system that increasingly autonomous and opaque. Ethical frameworks must be established before deployment, not after consequences occur. Now, here, the human costs or the symptoms of technology addiction. Now, let's look something closer to our experiences. How our current technology or how our current habits already affect our humanity. Bill Joy warning us aren't just about the distant future, but they are happening now through technology addiction. First is insomnia. No? Insomnia means excessive use of gadget. Late night disrupts sleep cycles. Example, you students scrolling through social media until 2 a.m. and feeling exhausted in class right after. Next, irritability. The feeling anxious when disconnected from gadgets. I know you have experienced that one. That you, especially, you if there's something that an activity that you are not allowed to use your phone, you feel irritable. You lose Wi-Fi and suddenly feel angry or restless. And next, depression. Online comparisons leads to low self-esteem and difficulty of concentrating. Excessive use of social media can lead to distorted perception of reality. You have social isolation, and of course, decreased life satisfaction. So, teen comparing their looks or success to influencers. We also have withdrawal symptoms, feeling empty or sad when phone or internet is unavailable. No? Pag brown out, mag-emotional breakdown agad. We also have behavioral addiction, no compulsive use of apps or games. Playing online games for more than 8 hours. No, instead of studying your lesson, but you've used your phones, no? You've used that so much time for playing games. Decrease critical thinking. Reliance on the use of Google or AI for answers. Students are fan of copy pasting instead of analyzing. That's a problem no, of symptoms of tech addiction. Yan. Now, let's proceed to what are the approaches and considerations to address these technological risks. I know now you have listed down the dangers. What can we do to make sure that future remains human-centered? Earlier, I presented various challenges and dangers that might be experienced right now. But the question is, what should we do? What are the approaches and considerations that we need to consider? First is responsible development and regulation. So governments and institutions must create strict laws before releasing powerful technologies. Countries now regulate gene editing and self-driving cars. Before a robot or AI system is deployed, it must pass ethical and safety checks. And this ensures technology is not just smart, but also safe. Second, ethical consideration. Every innovation must respect human rights, equality, and justice. AI ethics boards in companies like Google and Microsoft now review projects to ensure fairness and prevent bias, especially in hiring or facial recognition system. Next is public awareness and engagement. Citizens must understand that technology is shaping their lives. In the European Union, GDPR law came about because people demand stronger privacy protection. When the public is informed, they can hold institutions accountable. Next, we have here is the long-term thinking and sustainable coexistence. We must plan not only for the next 5 years, but for the next 50 or 100 years. Automation may replace millions of jobs, but new industries can be created through reskilling programs and education focused on creativity and ethics. And as educators and future leaders, your role is to help shape a world where technology serves humanity not replaces it. Before we will conclude, let's reflect on Bill Joy's essay, Everything We Learned Today. Here are some questions to think about. Do you agree with Joy that technology might someday replace humans? How can we make sure progress is balanced with ethics? And what is the role? What is your role as individual in guiding technological development responsibly? To sum up, William Nelson Joy warned that unchecked progress, especially in genetics, nanotechnology, and robotics, could make human obsolete. Technology can empower us, but it can also endanger us if we lose ethical control. We must build a future where innovation and morality exist, and the fate of humanity depends on our crucial decision. So the question here, will we use technology to serve people, or will we allow to replace us? That's why as we create smarter machines, are we becoming wiser humans?